Welcome to Activations with JJ Ascension Diaries, Part 13. In this episode, I'll be talking about how I have stepped into my sovereignty, both in relationships and with regards to the lens through which I see the world. Hello, my beautiful soul family. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. For those of you who are new, you may be wondering, what is this Ascension Diaries thing and how am I already at part 13? Well, basically, about a year ago, I created this series, which again is called Ascension Diaries. And my intention with it was to help you know and understand what I have been going through personally as I have awakened, you might say. And just basically all the ins and outs of how it's affected my regular life, how I've gotten to where I am today and where I used to be, so that maybe something in there that you relate to, that you can see in your life, and you don't feel so alone. If you are interested, there is a playlist with all of my past episodes in it. You can check that out on YouTube. All the episodes are also on my Spotify and Apple Podcast channels, but they're not neatly tucked into a playlist like they are on YouTube. Let me take a quick moment and read through for you some of the different episodes I've done and see if anything piques your interest. Physical ascension symptoms and body detox, my personal experiences with ascension, timeline jumping and time warping, way showing enhanced vision and clairvoyance, interacting with aliens or interdimensional beings, how organized religion fits into my spiritual journey, your purpose, not so random events, and Marie Kondo, deprogramming and collective healing, my thoughts on death and the afterlife, manifesting prosperity and balancing energy exchanges, and Dolores Cannon and other resources I have used on my spiritual journey. So again, that's not every single episode, but that's most of them, just so you have a broad view of what the topics have been up until this point. Of course, today I have another topic that I want to talk to you about that I think will be very pertinent to your life as well, because I think a lot of us are experiencing the same thing. And that has to do with sovereignty, both in my relationships with others and also in my relationship with the reality in which I live and which I create for myself. That part of it is a little bit more out there, but I promise it will all be brought back to sovereignty, and it's really fascinating how it is all related to that. Before I step into that portion of this episode, I want to take a moment and drop in with a few little announcements like I always do, just to keep you up to speed on what I'm doing. If you want to be really up to speed on what I'm doing, you're welcome to go to my website, activationswithjj.com. There's a little form you can sign up for. That is my email list, and you will receive information as soon as I create new offerings, new events, new podcast episodes. All of the things will be sent to you. I usually send about 2 emails out a month, so you will not be flooded with email. But again, it's just a way for you to stay in touch with me. Another great way, and even better way, is by following me on Instagram. I usually end up posting a lot on my stories if there's upcoming events. I have a link tree connected to my bio there that allows you to just sign up for things directly. So it's a really nice way to just find out everything that's going on in my world and all my offerings. Speaking of my offerings, this coming Saturday, so in just a couple of days, July 23rd, I have a light language circle coming up. And if you have not attended a light language circle, it's basically a safe space for you to listen and receive and even try out doing light language. I actually have us lead us through exercises where we can use our mouth and use our voice to open up and attempt to do light language on our own. The greatest part about it is you do not have to have your microphone unmuted. You don't even have to have your camera on. But there are some people who like to share with us what they're doing, and I always allow there to be time to do that. But really, it's a way for you to activate, to be brave. I feel like we're creating a container in those groups where you are able to kind of step out of your comfort zone a little bit, even if it's just for you personally, and begin to activate some of your light language abilities. So again, that is this Saturday, July 23rd. It's in the morning Pacific time. So if you're in Europe, it's probably a convenient time for you. If you're in Australia or New Zealand, you might want to order the Playback since it's the middle of the night for you. And I do offer those playbacks on my website as well. The second event that I have coming up this weekend is on Sunday, July 24th, and that is our Lemurian Sisterhood of the Rose Gathering. Again, all the details are in the link below, but it takes place in the morning Pacific time. You'll have to translate it into your time zone once you hop on to sign up. That is just an amazing and beautiful gathering that we do, where we connect with the Lemurian star mothers, and the most amazing thing happened over the last couple of weeks, beginning with the Syrian Gateway. On 7/7, we did a Syrian Gateway gathering. You can still catch the playback of that. Again, on my website, there's a place where you can download those gathering recordings. But on that day, we brought through additional Lemurian star mothers. I found this really interesting post. A friend actually shared it with me that described that there were 4 different races, starseed races, that were part of the Lemurian race that seeded the Lemurian race. They were the Syrians, the Arcturians, the Dracos, and the Pleiadians. I always knew about the Pleiadians, but I did not know about the other ones. And so when we had our gathering on 7/7, we literally welcomed back the Syrian star mothers. In subsequent gatherings, we brought through the Draco star mothers, which was also beautiful. That was at my Fairies and Elementals gathering. I actually have not connected to bring through the Arcturian star mothers, but that might be coming. I don't know, that might happen at our gathering on Sunday. We will see. So those are the gatherings I have coming up soon. There's only one more event that I want to bring up, and that is my Galactic Federation seminar series. That won't be happening until the 14th of August. It's a 3-part series that happens 3 different Sundays in a row in August. And I have felt very, very drawn to invite those of you specifically who are connected with the Galactic Federation, who feel a pull towards the Galactic Federation. You are the ones that I'm looking for. There is some kind of special gridding that I know is going to occur during this gathering that is going to allow me to channel information I would not normally be able to bring through on my own. A lot of you who have been in my gatherings have heard me say that when I am in a group or even a one-on-one session, what I am able to bring through is different, and it is amplified by you and your energy. So if you are feeling the call to participate, you can find out more. The link is below, and I promise you it's going to blow your mind. I just have this really strong feeling like it's going to be something really super powerful that we bring through from the Galactic Federation, something new that they want to introduce to us here on Earth. We're the ground crew. We're the ones down on the ground, embodied, doing this work. And I feel like there are going to be activations for us personally, as well as activations and information that will affect the entire collective on the planet. So I would love to have you join us again. Let's slide right into our topic today. And again, I'm sharing with you my personal views because this is an Ascension Diaries episode. It's very personal to me about how sovereignty, about how my stepping into my sovereignty has affected first and foremost my relationships with others, and then also my relationship with my reality. And that's, again, sounds a little nebulous, but I promise I'll try to make it clear what I'm trying to say. So first of all, with my relationships, something really interesting has occurred over the last few years, and I'm mainly going to focus on my relationships with my partner. I happen to be in a relationship, a long-term relationship with someone, and that is very interesting. When the two of you are going along on your personal ascension journeys, all of us are evolving as souls. Whether or not our partner believes that they've gone through an awakening, we are all evolving collectively during this time period. And there are definite side effects that come up in our relationships. It's not easy. I don't think it's easy being alone or with a partner during this time of the new earth. I think there are pros and cons, I guess you could say, to both. Although I do want you to remember that you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. You are exactly where you need to be. And whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, it's time for you to savor and enjoy those moments with yourself or as you navigate how you're interacting with someone else while you go through ascension. For me personally, something that I think will resonate with many of you is the fact that although my partner would not be with me if our vibrations were so completely opposite, but there are still some differences between what we're going through. Our perspectives are different. The biggest thing for me has been as I've stepped into my multidimensional self, and that has come through myself going through multidimensional soul integration, multidimensional soul activation, the two modalities that I work with people through, and also just stepping into my light language, connecting with interdimensionals, doing past life regressions. All of those have helped me to see my multidimensional self. As I've done that, it's been interesting to see how my partner reacts to the fact that I'm different. I almost have, I don't want to call it split personalities, but I definitely have been cultivating other aspects of myself that were not who I used to be. And I feel like on their end, they are experiencing it as if I'm not who I was. And it's a little bit of a shock sometimes. They don't see me reacting the way that I've always reacted. And does this mean that I am peaceful, calm, and tranquil and loving all the time? You know what? No. Sometimes it means that I stand my ground and I speak my voice more than I used to because I've released programming. I've stepped into my sovereignty. For me, stepping into my sovereignty is stepping into my multidimensionality because I own all the aspects of myself. I am all of the things, and I give myself permission to do that. In the past, as I viewed my spiritual progression, I've thought that it was only going to manifest by me behaving in one certain way. I thought my life would look a certain way. I thought my behavior and my interactions with others would look a certain way as I ascended higher and higher and higher. And here's what's crazy. This came to me just this morning, so I want to make sure to share it. I have realized that the quote-unquote higher I go, the lower I also go, without judging what lower means, okay? Another way to look at it is that the more I've expanded outward, the more I've gone inward. And what Spirit has brought to me time and time again, not only through my personal life and development, but also as I work with others, is that it's just like a tree. As we work on the outward things, reaching up and out, it's important for us to grow the roots down and deep into those parts of ourselves that we haven't explored before. This is something I mentioned a couple of weeks ago when I talk about developing our psychic abilities and how important it is for us to use those psychic abilities, not only to connect with things like the Galactic Federation or the Pleiadians or angelics, but also to connect very deeply within our own essence. And just today, that's when I realized something that's been happening in my relationship is that I've been going out and up, but I haven't been going inward as much. And then I decided to do that. I decided to tap into not just what my partner was doing and how their ascension or their awakening or lack thereof was affecting our relationship, but how I was trying to get more granular with my own inner work, something that never ends. I hate to break it to you. You are always doing your inner work. That's a beautiful, beautiful gift to be able to do that and to be aware of it. But it takes a lot of stepping into our sovereignty because what we're used to experiencing is someone outside of us telling us who we are, who we need to be, reminding us that we need to fix this and that. And I really feel like what's happened with me personally is that I'm deprogramming from waiting for someone outside to tell me what to do. And I'm stepping into a space and a time in my life where I'm no longer waiting for someone outside to do that. And I have to put on my big girl panties and do it myself. I know that's a really funny saying, but that's just what popped out of my mouth. It's time for us to go into the trenches and to go into the depths. And guess what? It seems scary, but it's not. It's not. It's beautiful, because as we step in and accept our multidimensionality, we then give space for ourselves and make space for ourselves to express who we are from many different facets and through many different multi-layered parts of us. So that's just something I want to drop in with and have you think about before I transition into the next subject, which is, I know it doesn't sound totally related, but I promise you, in the end, you'll see that it is, how our sovereignty affects the way we view our reality. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, it actually came through in a session with somebody as their higher self was bringing an analogy in. And the analogy was a mosaic. And all of you know what a mosaic is. An artist will take different pieces, fragments, and bring them together to make a beautiful work of art that actually looks like something. Sometimes it's abstract, but again, it comes together to bring in something that we can relate to. And the idea was this. The person asked me, what do I do with all of this information that I'm receiving? Because as we explore and expand, we feel drawn to tap into different YouTube channels, to different people's Instagram accounts, and all of those people have their own viewpoints. I have my own viewpoints, and I encourage you to pick and choose what you would like to receive from what I bring through. That's exactly what this person's higher self said when they were talking about the mosaic. They said, imagine that you are creating a mosaic and all of the information that you're receiving represents a piece of that mosaic. Now remember that in your art studio, there are going to be pieces that you will not end up using in your final art, in this final big picture that you're creating. And my dear friends, that's what I want to drive home for you today. You are the artist. You don't have to believe or go along with every single piece of information that every person is dropping into you. We are deprogramming from the pedestal. I've talked about this a lot. The pedestal that we put so-called experts on, or channelers, even me, or people who are very intuitive. Your intuition should always and forever override the intuition of anyone else. It is your choice what part of anyone's channeled message you would like to integrate into your perspective and your worldview. Because in the end, this truly is your reality. It belongs to no one else. It is a sacred creation of yours and yours alone. It may sometimes feel as if you are just in the passenger seat, that you don't have control over what's going on. But the truth of the matter is that as we step into our multidimensionality, we realize we are both the driver and the passenger. We are both the artist and the canvas. And so bringing it back to the original point which I was making, the original story about the mosaic. When you hear something that does not resonate with you, absolutely push yourself, stretch yourself. Think about accepting new things and deprogramming from old things that feel in alignment with who you are anymore. But also know and understand that if it feels super overwhelming or heavy, and you don't want overwhelm and heaviness in your life at that moment, guess what? It's your choice to take it or leave it. It's always your choice. We are releasing the patterns of martyrdom and victimhood. We are releasing the programs of submission to authority. We are stepping into our authority. We are exercising that authority to create our reality. And I personally want you to know that I am holding space for you through all of this journey. The awkward parts, the beautiful parts, the sad parts, the angry parts, the bliss-filled parts, all of it. I'm right here, right by your side, going through all of it, because we are equals. We are creators together. And that leads me, of course, to the closing phrase, which I love to give. I'm sending you so much love and reminding you that I am you, and you are me, and we are we. Until next time, my friends.